Well, what's going on, everybody, and welcome to a wonderful new episode of what is happening to our country. Well, I'll tell you what it is. Things are coming together. We're finally going to get our crap together. The country's going to start doing better. I mean, even look at the stock market. I think, what is it, up 1,600 points, 2,000 points since in the past 3 days. So even our stocks and my retirement is up, but not very much. But because I just invest in transportation shares, but whatever. It's been a good couple of days. Lots of stuff is being done in terms of our country, and we'll have to see. The one thing I like is they paused all regulatory rulemaking for every single government department. That includes the FMCSA, who oversees our industry. Now, I'm hoping they roll back some. Like, can you imagine, guys, if they rolled back the ELD mandate? That would be amazing. And it just allowed us to use actual logs and stuff and be a game changer. People would actually, that would make trucking great again. Get rid of these ELD mandates that do nothing to actually help the industry whatsoever. And here's the thing, that'll never actually happen because Sean Duffy, the guy that's in charge of the Department of Transportation now, was one of the actual lawmakers that actually put in MAP 21. So that's likely not when he was a senator, a congressman, I believe. So that's likely not going to happen. It did stop this whole broker transparency argument. Granted, that was already paused for another year, but it stopped that. I'm wondering about undercarriage stuff. Like, I wonder if a lot of the EPA restrictions and things that have been happening are going to all be rolled back. And will trucking be made great again? That's what I'm curious about. Who knows? But that's what I'm curious about. It's been an interesting couple of days. I was out in Oklahoma getting all of our trucks ready. I'm going to do it. Getting all of our trucks ready. We purchased a bunch of new trucks. And so we have five 2022 International LTs with the double bunks, APUs, and all that. If you have a commercial driver's license in 2 years hauling a refrigerated box, please send me a message. I need some good drivers. We have some good drivers, but I need some more good drivers that know how to pull a reefer, that aren't afraid to go out and get dirty, meaning, just run. And we're a very hands-off company, right? So I book the loads, I dispatch you out, and then I don't really talk to you again until it's time for your next load or you tell me you want to go home. That's the one good thing. There's some, there's no negative for working for me, except that if you don't do it as expected, I get kind of angry. But that's one of the things one driver was telling me yesterday. He's like, he's worked in this industry for many, many, many years, and he's never had a company that just sends him the load and lets him actually do his own job and lets him do what he knows how to do. So he was very appreciative of that, which is pretty rad. And so yeah, I mean, I think of the 5 that we have ready, because I went out to Oklahoma City, installed the ELDs, installed the cameras, front-facing only, no driver cameras. Installed those. We got them all lettered up, man. Whew, they're looking pretty. They're all ready to go. And here's the kicker, right? So if you've been looking for a new home and you're, relatively close to Oklahoma City is what we like, a couple 100 miles, or if you're by Chattanooga, or if you're somewhere else, I mean, I'll fly you in. I don't really care. We just need good drivers, man. I need good drivers that want to get out there and hustle, want to make some money. We do it on a split. So basically you either get a percentage of the gross revenue on the load, or you get per mile. That way you're always making sure that you make the most, and that's automatic. So it's not like, oh, you have to choose one or the other. No, it's whichever one's higher is what you get. So if you do like a short, week where you're only doing 1,500 miles, but the gross revenue to the truck is like $8,000, $9,000, then you get the percentage of that gross revenue versus the mileage, because the mileage wouldn't come out to much. It would come out to what? If you did 15, it would come out to like $750, right? Something like that. Yeah. No, it would come out to almost $1,000. But I mean, it's a good way to make money. You can make a lot of money if you know what you're doing. So, and like I said, we have a ton of applicants that want drive-in. We got a ton of applicants that want flatbed. But I really want to put these trucks in reefer and just run the reefers. So if anyone is looking, go to shipwithreed.com. That's shipwithreed.com. And you can fill out an application there. And we'll process you quick. So you get in, you do the application completely and put your whole job history in there and all that. Our recruiters will jump on it. And here's better. You can even write in the comments of this video and say, Steve, I just applied. I'll see that comment and I'll run down to the recruiting office and I'll be like, yo, let's get this guy going. Because I want some drivers in it. I want to fly out and do an orientation on Tuesday. So, I mean, I'm being kind of ambitious on my goal of getting some good quality drivers in here. You know, but it is what it is. You know, we need good drivers. We need people that just want to run. Like, I need the old school truckers. You guys know what I'm saying. Like, the old school truckers. None of that, like, you know, if something goes wrong with your truck, I want you to be able to talk to our maintenance people and be like, hey, man, yeah, I know what this is. You know, you get roadside out here, it's going to take approximately 4. That way we're just running, you know, and you guys know what I'm talking about. The old school truckers that don't need to call to say, oh, I can't find this pickup and delivery. And I'm like, well, did you use a map? And they're like, what the hell's a map? Like, I don't want that kind of driver. I want the old school drivers, the ones that are all about business. All about business, making money. That's who I want to drive. You know, I'm an a-hole. I'll be completely honest with you. If you lie to me or you constantly miss appointments, you're not gonna have a job. But other than that, I'm pretty laid back. I don't really bug you too much. Yeah, if you know how some drivers want to talk a lot, I'll talk if I have time. But other drivers don't want to talk at all, so I barely even talk to them. I mean, we've got drivers that I don't even know what they look like. I've never even met them because they don't come into the terminal. They know their truck. They know they'll call and be like, yo, Steve, it's time for an oil change. And I'll be like, all right. And then we get them into Southern Tire Mart or a TA or something on the road. Some of these trucks haven't been back since they picked them up because these drivers just run. You know, they're doing proper pre-trips every morning. That's the one thing. I'm a big stickler on pre-trips. You know, when you got your CDL and you had to walk through and do your whole pre-trip inspection, that's what I expect you to do every morning here. Because in all reality, it saves us money in the long run. If you're doing a proper pre-trip and figuring out the things that are broken or missing or not right on your truck, guess what? You can figure out what needs to be fixed quicker than it actually breaking on the road. So that's one thing that we're really, really going to crack down on is I want people going through, popping the hood, checking the oil, checking all the steerage linkage. I want just like a pre-trip, you know, where you're touching everything and say, it's not, what is it, cracked, bent, missing nuts or bolts or leaking. Yeah, that's what I want. But anyway, but yeah, it's been an interesting couple of days. I drove out there to Oklahoma. And originally I was going to bring back a Jeep. I got a Jeep out there. So I was going to bring that back. But then I realized my nice little four-door, two-wheel drive Dodge Ram Hemi, it needs some upgraded suspension because I hooked up to a trailer in Jonesboro, little 20-foot trailer, and my truck sagged. And I was sagging all the way there, and it was an empty trailer. And so I get back, and I see the Jeep, and I decide I'm not going to take it just yet. Because the trailer and all that, and so I ended up bringing back a heavy-ass riding lawnmower, and then I'm driving down the road, and everyone was worried about the roads, my wife and everybody, but the roads were clear. I-40 all the way from Oklahoma City to Nashville was clear, and but I do make one turn, and this trailer, a Gator-made trailer, has the ramps that slide in underneath, like behind the tandems. They slide in this way instead of being on the back of the truck. And it had this little metal piece that kind of just sits in there and blocks the legs from the ramps from sliding out. Well, that little metal piece on some bump somewhere flew out of the damn thing. And then I go to make a right-hand turn, and guess what happens? Those ramps go flying out. Luckily, they didn't hit any car. But I tell you what, I'm picking up the ramps and trying to get them picked up. And these people that were driving did not want to let me pick up these ramps, man. They were like staring at me and be like honking their horns. And I'm like, clearly I'm picking up a big ass ramp that's in the middle of the road, you know, but they were not very happy that I was trying to clearly get an obstacle out of the road, which ticked me off. And then our company phone system went down too. You know, Ring Central, who is a very good, VoIP provider. A lot of companies use it. In fact, like towns, cities, states, hospitals, everybody uses it, and they had a worldwide outage yesterday, maybe nationwide, but I believe it was probably a worldwide outage, and I don't know why yet, but their phone systems went down. So our phone system completely went down. A bunch of other logistics related companies went down. One of our big customers, I was trying to call him, because here's the thing, like, so we had a truck that went down, the strap brackets on his diesel tank, on one of the diesel tanks, started rusting out, and so we knew we had to get it fixed. So I put him out of service at a mechanic. We ordered the strap brackets, or whatever you call them, tank straps. we ordered those, but then I realized that we're not going to get those in time. So we actually have our maintenance guy driving up to Knoxville to pick them up today. He's probably on his way or already picked them up. And then he's coming down and bringing them down. But that guy's on a dedicated run going up from Kentucky down to Georgia. So we had to find another carrier. Luckily, I had another driver. Shout out to Kenneth. We had another driver that was up in Nashville. So I called him, pulled off his load, canceled that load. Sorry, CH. And ended up having him do the rescue on the dedicated load. And so he drove up there and everything worked out. But I was calling that broker just to let him know that we have this dedicated lane with, and just telling him, hey man, I swapped trucks on it, you know. And that's what the broker's like. I mean, we did it within 10 minutes of realizing that the truck was not going to be ready yesterday to make his on-time delivery. We ended up rerouting the whole thing, and that well-oiled machine, that's how it's supposed to be, right? The drivers didn't give a shit. Actually, the driver didn't complain. He gets paid more money. So, because that lane is the dedicated lane that pays more. So he was happy. Because again, all my guys are mileage or percentage, whichever one's greater. So he gets his deadhead mileage, and and he deadheaded a hell of a distance to go get that load in Nashville. And when I canceled, he had 150 more miles of deadhead. But he's a go-getter. All my drivers are right now. I mean, I've had some drivers stuck in the snow. I've got Nate down in Louisiana, but I-10 was shut down for the past 2 days because of all the ice and the little half-inch of snow that they had down there, and they just don't have equipment to clear it. So he was unable to go anywhere. And finally, I guess they opened the roadways last night, so he's able to go, but he's a daytime-only driver, so which we don't hire any more of. We just can't, because especially hauling reefer, we can't do that. But so he's going to go out today, and then we got Candace, one of our drivers, is out in North Carolina. The shipper that she was delivering to yesterday is closed yesterday, and hopefully they'll be open today. But so she had to wait on site. She braved the snow. I mean, she white-knuckled it all the way there, driving safely. Made it there to the delivery, only to find out that they're closed for the day. And then I was like, hey, are the roads bad? She's like, yeah, they're horrible. And I said, well, park there then. And she's like, well, let me see if Uber Eats will deliver here, because otherwise I can't park here. I have no food. She's like, guess what? Uber Eats delivers here. I'll talk to you tomorrow. And that's the way the drivers are. They're just super awesome drivers. They don't give a hoot. You know what I mean? And they just drive. That's what I'm talking about. They just drive. And they just run. And then Adam and Audra, our team, you see them a lot on social media because I post their photos of all the team loads that they're doing, flatbed. They were out in Oklahoma making a delivery of this big gen set, and it had to be crane offloaded. Well, the crane couldn't work in the wind and the cold. I guess the hydraulics were all freezing up and all that stuff. Plus the wind was over 10 miles an hour, so they shut down. So they had to get a layover for a day. And then yesterday they told them to be back at 7 a.m. so they would offload them. They didn't get offloaded until 2:30 p.m. yesterday. So we're going to have layover and detention. And then the broker's like, oh, what about layover? Like, blah, blah, blah. We have a standard pay of $250. And I said, well, this is a team load, so that your standard pay of $250 isn't going to work. So if you ever want us to do any more work with you, it's $500 for layover for the day, because I got to pay both drivers for sitting. A $250 layover doesn't cover their day rate. Because that's another thing, is we pay a day rate, right? So if the drivers end up having to sit or do a layover, they get paid a day rate, because it's not fair for them to have to sit there. So our drivers are taken care of pretty good. So long story short, they ended up getting offloaded at 2:30 yesterday, and then they deadheaded up to Wichita because there was nothing out there. And they're picking up a load probably right now that's delivering direct down to Oklahoma again. And they'll get that load off around 8 o'clock tonight. And then I'll try to make up the week, because, you know, that truck as a team, a flatbed team and a strong team, they run. So we have weekly goals that all of our trucks are trying to get to, and they got some miles to make up, you know what I'm saying? But they don't have to be out, and they just run. That's a good part about them. They don't want these short hauls that sometimes we have to book, especially as a team. They don't want them. They want to just run. They're like, let me fly, Steve. They don't say that, but they should. Obviously, I've upped my caffeine dosage in the morning. So I'm trying a new coffee roast that may replace the Awake Not Woke that we used to have. So I've been trying it every day, kind of taste testing, you know, doing little things. I am bringing back Pure Truth Coffee. I think I'm going to rename it something else, though. I'm not quite sure. But it is coming back, and this coffee is a winner, and I like it. And so it'll come in 12-ounce bags, but it'll also come in these little 2-ounce bags. I'm trying to find out the correct ounces, But so far, I think 2 ounces of this roast are perfect. And they'll come in these little 2-ounce roast bags. So you can just open it up, pour right in your 12-cup coffee maker and go to town. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I did. And so my little coffee mug is not too little anymore. And I just drink this stuff all day because it's delicious. This is my old trucking mug. This is one I used to drive. You guys probably remember from watching the truck videos. This thing's been sitting in the cupboard too big to drink anything out of. And I was like, you know what? Time to break it out. And yeah. Things are good. I'm in good spirits, man. I think that our country is going to rebound. I think we're going to do well. I mean, I like the immigration policies. Listen, I said something the other day in yesterday's little video or the day before's little video that I wasn't a big fan of some of the executive orders. I'm not a huge fan of the pardon universal, the 1,600 people that he pardoned. I know a lot of people will disagree with me on that. I also don't believe that it's patriotic to punch police officers, and I know some of the people that received pardons were committed acts of violence or broke windows and stuff like that. I just don't believe in that. But I do also believe there were thousands, well over 1,000 people that received sentences much, much harsher than any crime they committed. I mean, there were people that were locked up on January 6th or for events on January 6th where they didn't do anything. They were literally charged with parading or disrupting a government thing when they didn't even go in. They were on the grass. Like, people were charged with destruction of federal property because they bent grass standing on grass. I am not joking. That's a real charge. And so, like, those people, clearly they deserve a pardon. There was that MAGA granny lady, which, I mean, she got to give it to her. She said, listen, I committed a crime. I don't want a pardon. I did the time for what I did, and a pardon means like she's like, I don't want a pardon. And she turned it down. You know who didn't turn down the pardon? Joe Biden's family, because they all got pardoned too. And here's the thing, like, I wish the media would just move on from it. Yesterday, the media, the news was talking about the pardons all damn day. Not specifically the January 6th pardons. They were all talking about Joe Biden's pardons. Who gives a shit now? Let's stop. Who cares? Let's move on. Like, they were trying to analyze the letter that Joe Biden left in President Trump's desk, in the Resolute desk, and they kept trying to talk shit about that letter. And I'm like, listen, that was a nice letter considering how much these guys do not like each other. That letter was a nice letter, and it basically said, hey, listen, the country's depending on you to do the right thing. Do the right thing. It didn't say, like, what the right thing is or anything else like that. We need to, at this point in this country, and I know a lot of people disagree with me because you're all like, oh, Democrats suck. I'm not that way anymore. I firmly believe that we all need to go back, turn the page, realize that we're all Americans, whether or not we're Democrats, Republicans, independents, libertarian, whatever the hell you want to call yourself, and realize that we all need to work together to make this country what it should have been for the past 4 years, right? Which is America. That's what we need to do. And so all this divisiveness and back and forth about bullshit, it's not doing any good. And I really, really wish the media would just kind of catch that and stop. But they're not going to. Fox News is in the business of talking shit about Democrats. CNN is in the business of laying off hundreds and hundreds of people because their ratings are going to drop. No, but that's true. That's news that just came out. And in all reality, we all just got to get our shit together. We all got to realize that, hey, our national security is super important. We got the Gulf of America, but no, we have to pay attention to everything that's happened in our immigration crisis and the border crisis and all that shit, and watch this fucking goober in a Volkswagen. You drive like an idiot while on your phone. Stupid idiot. Isn't that funny? I'm calling someone an idiot while I'm saying we all need to work together. Whatever. But yeah, we've deployed troops. I heard something this morning saying it's going to be up to 10,000 United States, active and reserve troops being deployed to our southern border. So be it. We have to get a control over that. Stop people from coming across. Understand that, and to be honest, and this is a belief that not a lot of people share, especially conservatives. I believe we need to make the barrier of entry to enter the United States and enjoy what is here way, way, way more lax. And so we can get obviously, I'm not talking about vetting and shit like that. I'm talking about all the hoops. It takes years sometimes to get a green card to come into the United States and work. That's tax revenue. That could make my tax dollars go down. Why wouldn't we want people to enjoy the American dream, or what the American dream could be? I don't know. Some people believe that they shouldn't have any people, immigrating legally to the United States. I'm not that type of person. I believe we should try our best to encourage people to come here legally, and while securing our border and not allowing anybody to come in that's not supposed to be here. All these criminals and granted, everyone that's coming in illegally is a criminal. Yes, I said it because it's true. You're committing a crime to gain access, unauthorized access to the United States. But I firmly believe we should make it a lot easier for people to come here and enjoy what America is and what America could be. And a lot of people just don't have that freedom. And I know a lot of people disagree with me on that premise. They don't believe we should open up the borders. We don't, or make it I don't think we should open the borders. Let's make no mistake. And I've long maintained that the only way to fix a border crisis is to shut it all down, right? You can't fix a leaky faucet by putting duct tape over it. No, you got to turn off the water and fix the leak. It's the same thing with our border. We got to shut off the leak, shut off the water supply, and then fix the leak. And that's what Donald Trump is doing. Now imagine what could happen if people actually did that with every single department and functionality in the United States, like our Department of Transportation and the regulations imposed on truck drivers. Whew, it would be amazing. But at any rate, I'm about to get to my office, so I'm going to end this live stream or this video. I will upload this forthwith, and it will be there. And I appreciate all you guys for watching. Please make sure you like, share, and subscribe. And if you don't like it, so what? Say you like it. And because it helps me, all right? Make sure you leave a comment. Tell me what you are. If you want a trucking job and you want to work for the best damn company in the world by the best damn dispatcher in the world, go to shipwithreed.com, all right? We'll see you later, bye.